She's a part of the amazing 80s brothers and sisters group, The Jets, Miss Moana Wolfgramm. Moana, how are we today?
Good, doing great.
I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy, busy lady.
Yeah, a little busier these days than I used to be, but just fine. I'm happy to be on.
That's always great. Now, I know you're residing in Utah, but you and your brothers and sisters grew up in a very, very different atmosphere over in the South Pacific. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, originally my parents came from the island of Tonga in the South Pacific, and then they immigrated to America in the 60s, and then we were all kind of born all over the West Coast in America. So it's we've traveled a lot. We've all over the U.S., and then we ended up in Minneapolis, of all places, where we ended up staying for almost 15 years. That's where we were discovered as a Polynesian review show, and we switched our music to pop, and were signed by MCA Records and became the Jets from that point on.
Very cool. Now, Moana, what did you listen to growing up in Minneapolis? What was your, what were your favorite groups listening to?
A lot of the groups that we listened to, our inspiration was definitely the Jackson 5, the Osmonds. Earth, Wind & Fire was a big influence, a great inspiration. We loved those big band groups, Commodores.
How did you guys get signed to MCA?
We were living in Minneapolis, performing. I was about 9 years old, and my brother Leroy was probably 17 or 18 at the time. And we were working at a lounge. We had heard about a man that used to work at Motown Records, but he retired, and we were just trying to get him to come out and see us, and I think he just ran out of excuses and decided to come out and see us and thought he'd seen potential. Prince had just come out with Purple Rain, and they were starting to look, these record companies were starting to look elsewhere other than New York City for groups, and we happened to be in the right city at the right time, and they were looking in Minneapolis for new groups, and that's where they seen our family, and hadn't had a family group since the Jackson and the Osmonds. So they were interested and decided to sign us, and it's the rest is history. We had been traveling, performing as a family for probably since 1978, and found ourselves in Minneapolis, and in 1983 or 84 is when we got signed, and our lives kind of changed from there, and that's when we became the Jets. Our name came from Elton John's hit, Benny and the Jets.
Benny and the Jets. I always wondered how you guys came up with the Jets. Very cool.
Yeah, our last name was Wolfgramm, and we don't look German at all. We have descendants that come from Germany that came to the islands and married island women, and that's how we got the German name. But Wolfgramm, we didn't look German at all, and our manager said we needed something short and easy to say, and he had heard Benny and the Jets on the radio and thought we should go with Jets. It's something short and easy to say.
I know you guys were signed to MCA Records, and then all of a sudden, the very first single that hit the American charts actually became a top 10 dance hit, Curiosity. How did you guys come up with that first single?
We were so young at the time. We had a lot of talented writers that submitted a lot of music, and it was Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman. Some of these writers had worked on an 80s dance movie called Breakin', and they had written a couple songs for us, and that first one got us on the top 10 in the R&B charts and Billboard. So, yes, that's kind of how it all started. Our manager was really key in helping pick all the music that helped kind of, mold our group and what we were about. He had seen us perform a lot, and we were still working on this. We weren't songwriters quite yet, but we definitely were musicians and singers. And, he basically had found these writers and wrote us a great hit.
The main breakout success for the Jets was, of course, the very popular and very successful tune, Crush on You. What's the background on that particular tune?
Crush on You is also another song that was written by these writers, Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman, and we were trying to find something that was that fit our age bracket. I was 10, Leroy was about 17 or 18, and we were a self-contained band that also moved a lot. We loved watching Earth, Wind & Fire, and we wanted a song that kind of fit that energy and our personalities, and that was a song that fit.
From 1986, the great tune that was featured on your self-titled debut album, The Jets, was a great dance number called Private Number. What's the story behind that tune? How did you guys come up with that?
Like I said, it was kind of some of our same writers, Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman had written that one. And we were so young. It was just kind of fun that we were able to try out different stuff. I think we were all teenagers. It was fun to just, you're still trying to find yourself. You're trying to find out what kind of music you like. And we kind of delved into all different types of styles. Private Number was also a fun video to do. MTV was still kind of brand new with all these creative new music videos, and so that was one of our favorite videos we did as well.
The next tune was written by actual singer-songwriter Rupert Holmes, who did the Pina Colada song, and then he wrote your hit, You Got It All. Is that right?
Yes, he did. Beautiful, beautiful song. I was 10, Elizabeth was 11, and Liz was our lead singer. What's so funny is that we were so young, she couldn't really understand the context of the song. It was a love song. She didn't get it until our manager had said, if you ever had a puppy or an animal that you love so much, and then she kind of sung with that in mind. She kind of sung about a puppy that she liked. She was so young. We always kind of, she was the little girl with the big voice.
Yeah.
And she always had this beautiful voice, and no one could tell that she was only, when she recorded that song, she was only 11, I think, 10 or 11 years old.
The great tune that was a part of the movie soundtrack, Beverly Hills Cop 2, the tune Cross My Broken Heart. What a great song that was.
Yes, Cross My Broken Heart came from a couple of writers. Can't get it off my head which ones they were, but it was a song from the soundtrack, Beverly Hills Cop 2, and that was kind of one of our first dance hits that we had out on radio.
Very cool. And then the second single released from the group's album Magic, which is one of my favorite albums, the great tune I Do You. Was that co-written by Stephen Bray? Is that right?
Yes. In fact, Stephen Bray wrote Cross a Broken Heart too.
Oh, okay.
So I Do You as well. So I Do You was another one that we loved doing. We actually filmed the music video for that at First Avenue, which was where Prince had done Purple Rain. So if you notice in some of the shots, it's the same stage, same nightclub. Yeah, that was a great song as well.
The third single from the Magic album was home to, you guys released 6 great singles off of that album, including the track Rocket to You, which became the second most successful single from that album. And what's the concept behind you guys all coming together and putting Rocket to You together?
Rocket to You was written by a man named Bobby Nunn, very talented. And what's really cool about that song is that it was actually offered to Earth, Wind & Fire, and they passed on it. And we had a chance to listen to it and loved it and took it from there. We love it for the fact that he had written it for Earth, Wind & Fire. And so we like that feel, that the harmonies, the beat, the energy of that song. And it was our first song that had one of our brothers, have a chance to sing a single on it.
Very cool. Yeah, that another great tune. During the spring months of 1988, the great tune came out, Make It Real, hit the American charts and became the band's 5th top 10 hit single and becoming the second number 1 hit for the band. How did you guys come up with Make It Real?
Make It Real was written with our manager, Don Powell, and 2 other writers that, sorry, it escapes my mind right now. And it's nice to know that when we're walking through Walmart with our children, we still hear it on the radio every now and then. Liz had sung that. We were flying through town doing a concert, and she went into Houston and recorded that song. And it was kind of one of those things where our manager, Don, they kind of wrote it really fast. It was a quick write, and it just had that right hook and that right melody. And we still enjoy singing that song today, and a lot of our fans still tell us that brings back a lot of great memories for them.
What are you guys working on today, Mona, as the Jets? What are you guys working on these days?
Well, the group disbanded about 1997, and everyone got married and started families of our own. And just recently, we reunited in Hawaii about 2 years ago and did a show down there, and just kind of enjoyed being together again. We had been out of the business for a while, so we were approaching our 25th anniversary and decided to get together and release a 25th anniversary album. My brother Rudy, who was the drummer in the group, has become a filmmaker and started working on a documentary about how our family made it in America, coming from the islands. And so that's coming out at the end of this year, the fall of 2012. And so we're really excited that we get a chance to sing some new stuff that we've written. The Jets made up 8 of actually 17 children. And
wow.
a lot of our younger siblings are musicians and songwriters, and they've actually written a lot of stuff with us, and we're really excited that we get a chance to reunite as a family and just do the music that we love doing and just celebrate the blessing that it was that we were able to be a family and become the Jets and have that success that we had.
Very, very cool. 8 out of 17 kids? Wow.
Yes, yeah, crazy.
That is crazy. Mona, what's the best website for fans to go to get more information on the Jets?
We have an official website called www.com, Crush on the Jets.
Crush on the Jets. And a great website, by the way.
It's actually just called crushonthejets.com. I got that backwards, so
That's okay.
yes, that's where you can get all the information.
And a very cool website, I may add. You guys did a great job on that website. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I was able to do this, and I just want to give a shout-out to all those wonderful fans that have always kept us in their hearts and in their music. Thank you for being there and remembering the Jets.